turn once more.
As here comes Gonzaga, as he Edwards leading the trainees. Scary. He gets it stopped in time, and he takes that.
Well, as we make our way towards the end of Season 2 of the Battle of the Radicals, we make our way from the Eastern Bloc to Salinas, California, as WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca is now the battleground here in the United States of America. Measures just under 3.6 kilometers, altitude above sea level, 228 meters. And once again, it is the returning Alex Goldschmidt back in the commentary box trackside with Jim Cunningham. Jim, good evening. What a legendary track we've got for our drivers here tonight.
Oh man, this is man, I have to tell you, this track, growing up in America as a kid, watching racing on, back before there was racing on every channel and all that stuff. Laguna Seca was the track, man. As a kid, that corkscrew was so famous, probably infamous, I would say, would be the proper word. I just loved watching racing here. That corkscrew was so intriguing to me as a kid, and this was the track, man. It was the first track that, was in every racing game that came out. Every racing title that came out in America this track was in it. This was the American track for the longest time, and I love this place. I love driving here too. It's just a lot of fun. It's a great track.
Well, folks, let's bring you up to speed on how the calendar is looking for the remaining 4 weeks after this one. May 14th, we head to the home of,
wrong button. Hold on. My bad.
Hang on.
Turn that off. There we go.
Jim, you got ahead of yourself there. Wrong button.
I hit the wrong button.
I know. Hey, things happen, folks. We're only... Right, week 9, May 14th. Next week, 7 days' time, we head to the home of British Motor Racing at Silverstone for full Grand Prix experience. Then we go to good old Montreal in Canada to the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve on May 21st for week 10. Then we got the only 60 minutes endurance race at the Nordschleife Industriefahrten circuit layout on May 28th. And then Adelaide, the season finale on week 12 on June 4th.
Man, what a schedule. We got a great schedule coming up, man.
Hell of a schedule, including the 60 minutes around the Nordschleife Industriefahrten. I can't wait for that one. Right, let's take you through the points, the scores on the doors so far. So Jamie Bird continues to lead the way ahead of Mike Bousson by just 23 points with this and 4 more weeks to go on the calendar. Hervard Gullikson rounds out your overall top 3 ahead of Steve Webb, with Ollie Gullikson rounding out the top 5. Stefan Mellis, however, has dropped 3 places from what would have been 3rd, now runs 6 ahead of Josh Reed, Paul LeMay and Ray Peasley. Then let's have a look at our SR10 competitors as we're heading into the final few moments of qualifying. Simon Edwards now has a mighty 53-point lead over Heinz Brown. And then we've got James Barry, Bruno Vitorino up 1 spot from 5th on the pecking order. Look at this, Mr. Positivity. Phil Glover now rounds out the top 5.
Up 3 spots.
Up 3 spots ahead of Kim Andre Bjorklund, Paolo Breme and Dominic Pavera up 2 spots apiece to round out the top 8. Felix Simores and Robert Woodward rounding out your top 10, both dropping 3 places in the top 10 so far. But we are heading on to the end of time qualifying. 11 laps will be the sprint, 18 laps will be the feature with a reverse top 10. But Hervard Gullikson is a man really on form in the number 55 as we now time out from qualifying. And it is an SR8 that takes overall pole position here at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. We're gritting up and getting ready for our first race. 11 laps of the circuit here at Laguna Seca, just a shade over 2.2 miles, and with the infamous corkscrew. Let's, when we get to seeing our grid, well, there it is. Hervard Gullikson lining up on the front row from pole position. He'll have James Barry, the insert name here, racing team, alongside Simon Edwards and Jamie Bird round out your top 2 rows. Then Heinz Brown and George Gonzaga round up an all SR10 row 3. Robert Woodward will be joined by Mike Bousson on row number 4. Completing the top 10 will be a pair of SR10s themselves, the 88 of Kim-Andre Bjorklund and the highlighter edition number 38 of Seth Brown. Sauli Reitinen and Patricio Gomez de Silva round out row 6, ahead of Phil Glover and Ray Paisley, who complete row number 7. After that, Stefan Menes and Dominic Pavera round out top 15 on the grid. So 16 cars. Well, Simon Edwards, I would imagine that is an SR8, so that would be Simon Edwards' alter alias, maybe Simon K. Edwards. But we are gridding up, ready to go racing. James Barry, the last person yet to go onto the grid itself. He hasn't got long. We're about a minute and a half after they started gridding up. Brake lights are on, but look at that. Hevard Gullikson from the IGL Coatings and Sonde Traffic Scaller team will lead them from the field as it revs up. Lights are out, and let's see who gets the whole shot. Good start by Gullikson. Here comes Edwards as they go over the crest into T1, heading into turn 2 here at the Andretti hairpin. Edwards gets through for second position. James Bird looking for a move, so was Heinz Brown. But they both get their noses cut off ever so slightly. Jamie Bird to the outside, through into 3. And that is going to be a hell of a move. Round the outside goes James Bird. Jamie Bird on James Barry into 4. And then it's going to be underneath the bridge. And oh, bit of a wiggle there from Bird. Barry nearly hits him up the rear. And then here comes Heinz Brown with big nick of speed. Mike Bousson not too far behind in the 666 car as they go up the hill in towards turns. Well, we're going to be going onto the Rahal Straight very shortly, and it's side by side. Gonzaga to the inside of Bousson. Bousson gets mugged. Here comes Robert Woodward. They are at, look at the slipstream up the hill, through into the corkscrew, going down 5.5 stories. If anyone might remember the moves of Casey Stoner and the late Alex Zanardi, who we lost unfortunately last week on May the 1st.
We did.
At the young age of 59. Rest in peace, Alex. You will be sorely missed. A man who was a global inspiration, a 2-time champ car winner in 98 and 99, a 2-time gold medal winning Paralympian, 2 medals for gold at Brands Hatch in 2012 at the London Summer Paralympics, and then went on to Rio de Janeiro in Brazil 4 years later to pick up 2 silvers and 2 golds and a silver. Meantime, James Barry is finding it difficult to get through on Jamie Bird. It goes very, very wide coming out of the Andretti hairpin, but able to pull it back onto terra firma. 2 leaders are away and clear. It's SR8 versus SR10. Hevard Gullikson, the IGL Coatings and Sonde Traffic Scaller number 55. Norwegian crew. Up the hill they go, and very shortly it will be up to the Rahal Straight very, very soon indeed. But this is going to be a titanic tussle at the front end of the field as they go up the Rahal Straight through turn 6. And then it's going to be down through the corkscrew. It'll be through into Rainy Curve at turn number 9. This is getting very, very close indeed with everyone behind Jamie Bird. There is Gonzaga, who's got Kim-Andre Bjorklund closing in, and Mike Bousson, who is the 3rd highest placed SR8 on the field. And we've got number 18, Robert Woodward, now running in a BWD pink, a BWT all pink livery these days. And then we've got the highlighter edition SR10 behind him, Seth Brown, who rounds out the top 11. Woodward going to the outside. And that is going to be on Sauli Raptinen. Fine fin, currently running top 9 at the moment. But Gullikson and Edwards at the moment, Jim. Mr. Edwards always kindly provides you with some welcome information about how the cars have been bought ahead of this week's event.
Yeah, he does actually, and I like to shout out to him on the regular just because the amount of work that it takes to balance these cars out like he does is, it's a monumental effort that not only Simon does, there's some other people involved. But we got somebody pouring down the order here. What's going on? Let me see. Oh, well, we'll get to that in a second. We got a heck of a tussle going on here, going into the corkscrew.
Brown and Bjorklund side by side. As well, the way things are going at the moment, Jim, we might have to wait until the warm-up in between both races. Seth Brown at the moment is currently sitting on the position that might put him 10th. As here goes a move from the inside of Bjorklund. Gonzaga and Bjorklund.
No,
And Bjorklund's in the wall. Oh, disaster for the man from Sim Racing Norway. That back end's going to have a bit of damage to it, and that car is not fit. It's looking more loose than a NASCAR Xfinity Next Gen Cup car than it is the Radical SR10 at the moment for the man from Sim Racing Norway in the 88.
Yeah, that took George down the order as well. Let's go back and take a look at that real quick. James Barry. Oh, wait a minute. Well, Jamie Bird must have been involved in that as well. Let me see. Or something else happened to Jamie. We'll have to go look at.
Well, look at this. The launch from Bjorklund, then little touch, bang, straight into the wall goes Bjorklund.
I mean, it seems like he kind of came over there a little bit. This is what happened to Jamie Bird. He's dropped way down the order. He was running, of course, third. Out off the track. Way out in the dirt.
Yeah. That's going to allow James Barry to get through.
I don't think he's done yet, though.
The tyres will still be a little bit dirty, having kicked up the kidding litter quite significantly. But then he's got Heinz Brown right on his case. And then, that's where he lost it at big speed onto the Rahal Straight.
That was a good save, actually, right there.
Yeah, he managed to kick the tail out nicely, but ends up kicking up more Laguna Seca or Salina dust, unfortunately.
Well, I'll tell you what. You ever been to this part of the country?
I have never been stateside, Jim. It is on my bucket list.
Oh, yeah. This area right here. Oh, not far from here, the coast of California. Not far from here is some of the most beautiful. I mean, it's a rocky coastline, and you can drive along. You know, it's one of those scenic kind of thing. Oh man, it's so beautiful. And this is up there in that wine country part of California. Gorgeous, gorgeous. And the best weather you could ask for. I mean, it's just amazing.
Is that where the PCH, the Pacific Coast Highway is?
Yes.
There we go.
Yes.
I know my roads.
Yep, that's that area of California, and it is absolutely amazing. I spent a year on the professional golf tour as a caddy, and I made a special point to go do an event up in that part of the country just for that reason, just to see it, just to drive down the Pacific Coast Highway. You know, just absolutely amazing. Oh
yeah, I mean the PCX is one of those bucket list roads that people want to drive on.
Sure,
An audacious move by Jamie Bird, who managed to slingshot through at the corkscrew on Robert Woodward and take position. So that now puts Jamie Bird up into third place in the SR8 division. However, he is P3. And that is a spin. The flying fin spins around and loses out big time. Ends up 10th position. That's going to put him P8 into the SR10. So the number 83 from Finland making a bit of a pig's ear coming out of turn 3. Gullikson. And look at this, James Barry is absolutely flying at the moment. He just did a 16.82. Simon Edwards, 0.3 of a second slower. Hevard Gullikson, just over 0.2 of a second slower.
Yeah, Barry's coming.
And, he is absolutely chomping the bit. We are on lap 6 out of 11. So, 6 more to go. They go down through out of turn 10 into 11. And there is James Barry. Mike Bousson has just got a slap on the wrist. That is going to be slowdown penalty for the 666. The man located not too far from the domicile of a certain Mr. James Parfitt. Seth Brown, in the meantime, is getting on with business at hand. He's trying to close in on Robert Woodward for the 7th position. Effectively is P4 in the SR10s. There's James Barry. That gap now is down to a second and a half.
He's closing it fast.
Man, he's just done 16.8 on the last 2 laps alone. So the consistency from James Barry could help him. As long as, if Simon Edwards keeps on kicking up the dust like he just did coming at turn 3, that is going to slow him down. That's going to dirty his tyres. Now, looking at the track temp, 31.6 degrees centigrade. Air temp just a shade over 19.
That's pretty hot for that part of California, actually. That's a pretty decent track temperature there. That'll make it a little slick, especially with that, as you call it, kitty litter, that sandy dirt they have in that part of the country up there. It gets on the track, and it definitely affects grip for sure.
Yeah, and obviously it's not too far outside of Salinas, but also Monterey, where they host Car Week every single year. I mean, it's got 180 feet or 55 meter elevation change. And of course, the name Laguna Seca is Spanish for dry lake. So obviously where this was, it was a lake bed, and then the course was built around dry lake bed. So 2 artificial ponds were then put in the centre of things, just so at least there was some water, and then at least people couldn't say, "Oh, I see a mirage." No, that is an actual lake in front of you. But it is one of those circuits that has been around. It's been around since November of 1957, and has had a couple of previous names. Laguna Seca Raceway between 1957 and 2001. Then it was known as Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca before it became WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. So we've got a good battle here between Saulo Leitinen and Patricio Gomes de Silva, the second of the 2 Portuguese drivers that we have on the grid. The other one, George Gonzaga, currently running P9 at the moment, about 1.6 seconds behind Seth Brown. But James Barry is starting to close that gap.
He is.
Just set another few fastest lap of the race. He's the first one to dip into the sub 1 minute 16.8. He's done a 16.794, and that gap is 1.2 seconds and closing. Across the line they go. There's going to be
2 more.
3 more to go.
Three
more to go, including this one.
Be interested to see if he can get there and get by Simon. That's going to be a big ask. Catching him is one thing, getting by him is another, you know.
Yeah, very true. Not many places to pass here. It's all about sort of trying to close that gap up. I mean, Hevard Gullikson is pulling away from Simon Edwards, and the gap between them is about 9/10 of a second. But yeah, James Barry gets a little bit of that giddy up in his step here at Laguna Seca. He'll have the opportunity to try and get through on the number 52. Gullikson absolutely flying at the moment in the number 55.
I tell you what, man, he has been quite the surprise to me this season. I didn't know a lot about him, but he is incredibly fast. You show up and start outrunning these guys and you're doing something. There's a lot of fast guys in this series.
Yeah, there is indeed, as we have 2 laps remaining. Hevard Gullikson, the man from Norway, for IGL Kortings and Sunday Traffic Scholar, crosses the line. So just 4.5 miles left to go here at Laguna Seca in race 1. It'll be 18 laps for the top 10 inverts, and that gap is coming down, but I think James Barry is going to possibly have to resign himself with the fact he's going to have to hold station unless there is a big mistake from this man here, Simon Edwards, who has captured so many Radical Race Series titles over the years. Doesn't really need to be mentioned that much, even though I do tend to mention it every time we're on air, Jim. But still, the gaps are starting to stabilise here. Edwards, I think, is, it's a pretty good point sort of to finish P2. And sometimes it's not always about winning every single race. Just take, for instance, 4-time Formula 1 world champion, and a man who retired in 1993 after a spell with Williams, Alain Prost, the Professeur. He would always be so mathematically precise on knowing exactly how many points he would need to win the championship.
Man, he was one of my favorites too. I was a big Prost fan,
This is getting a little spicy in the dying stages. Heinz Brown has just made a mistake, and here comes Mike Pousson up the inside. Jamie Bird in the Hunt the Shunt Special Edition JPB Radical livery. Nearly comes through, but white flag is in the air. Jamie Bird looking to the inside of the final corner on Heinz Brown. Might get the run here, coming out of the final corner and heading into the Andretti hairpin. Meantime, Gullikson still leads as we're on lap 11 out of 11 here in race 1. And Gullikson doing a stellar job. Edwards just keeping him very, very honest, but the top 3 covered by about 2.2 seconds. As we will head up the hill for the final time. Bird trying to get through on Brown.
Oh, we might have had something there for a second.
He could have stuck his nose up the inside, but a little bit of a run by. Yeah, that was a big mistake coming out of T5.
He's lucky he didn't lose it there.
Oh, he was very, very lucky he didn't have something pucker up right there. Oh, Jamie Bird Oh, big old exit stage right, nearly loses the back end, and that's brought Robert Woodward into the fray. So up the hill they go towards the
leader here?
Group final time, but here is your leader, Hervald Gulliksen, that put it on pole position for race 1. Here on week number 8, one more corner to go. And the man from Norway and IGL Coatings and Sunday Traffic Scholar powers out of the final corner. Hervald Gulliksen wins race 1 in the SR8 by 1.3 seconds ahead of Simon Edwards. James Barry rounds out your top 3. You've got a little bit of a wait and look at this. Mike Bousson leading the train. It's going to be the run to the line. Jamie Bird. Oh, Robert Woodward's going to buck the pair of them. Woodward gets 5th. Woodward gets 5th. My goodness.
What happened to Heinz Braun there?
I think he had a bit of a moment coming out of the final corner.
He must
Jamie
have.
Bird,
Let's see
let's see if we can take a look back at that.
I don't know if it's going to let me.
Look. Heinz Brown, I think he might have had to serve a slowdown penalty.
Here we go.
Bird was inside. So let's have a look. Down into turn 10, he's getting major pressure from Jamie Bird. Now into turn number 11. Bird's going to try and get the crisscross here. Brown goes a little bit further too deep. Bird has to slide to avoid, and Woodward mugs the pair of them.
Either that was a slowdown, or he missed a gear, or might have money shifted that car or something. I don't know. That was very interesting. Oh my goodness, what what an exciting finish there. All right, let's see.
Yeah, we still got 2 drivers still yet to cross the line. Phil Glover, Mr. Positive, across the line, and Ray Peasley.
Both of them had trouble, and it was kind of in the heat of the battle when we were watching, so I did not show that, but which we're all right with that. We don't need to see that. Let's take a look at it. Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, so race 1, Hervald Gulliksen, the man from IGL Coatings and Sunday Traffic Scholar, led every single lap of the race. Fastest lap of the race by Hervald Gulliksen, winning by just under 1.3 seconds ahead of Simon Edwards, with James Barry rounding out the top 3. Mike Bousson takes P4 ahead of Robert Woodward, who mugged both Jamie Bird and Heinz Brown. Along with that, Seth Brown and George Gonzaga managed to get through on the German, with Solidate rounding out your top 10. Talicio Gomez de Silva, Kim-Andre Bjorklund, Dominic Pavera, Stefan Mellis rounded out the 14 that were under a minute behind the winner Gulliksen. And then Phil Glover, Ray Peasley, rounding out the 16-strong Jamie Bird with the most instant points of the race. 13.
I was just looking at that.
He's got to be very, very careful. But now that we've got a little bit of a short bit of time, Mr. Cunningham, please enlighten us on Mr. Edwards' pathology on the BOP this week.
So this week he said he kind of went a different angle at it again. This week they added 40 pounds to the SR8s. By the way, the SR8 was about a second faster a lap if both cars were left alone.
Right.
And so they added 40 kilograms to the SR8, and they took just a 0.5% of horsepower away from the SR10. Very, very minor, and they also took 20 kilograms of weight off of the SR10s. So they lightened up the SR10 by 20 kilograms, and they added 40 to the SR8s to balance them out, and just a minor bit of horsepower taken away from the SR10s, probably just to check their top speed just a little bit. And that's about it.
There we go. So we are just waiting for, well, the warm-up has just concluded. I think the check has just been out of there. Thanks to Barney, our flag marshal, as always, the ever-present and ever-ready flag marshal on the start-finish line.
The man ought to have the biggest right arm in the world. It's,
like Popeye the Sailor Man.
Exactly.
There we go. Right. Let's take you through the starting grid for race 2. It's an 18-lapper. Sali Lehtinen takes pole position. Heinz Brown will be alongside on the front row. Then it's George Gonzaga. And Mr. Highlighter himself, Seth Brown, rounding out row number 2. Jamie Bird and Robert Woodward completes row 3, followed by Mike Bousson and James Barry on row 4, completing the top 10. Second in the first race, Simon Edwards, and then Hervald Gulliksen, our race 1 winner, rounds out that top 10 in total. Patricio Gomez is silver, and Kim-Andre Bjorklund will line up on row 6. Dominic Pavera, Stefan Mellis, Phil Glover, Ray Peasley line up, and they're all ready to go here for 18 laps as the red lights will start to ignite here at WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca. Week 8, round race 2, lights out, and a good start by the front row. Brown's going to get a launch on Reitinen as the Finn defends heading into the Andretti hairpin as we go down the hill for the first time. And it's Seth Brown trying to go around the outside of George Gonzaga. 2x2, a little bit Noah's Ark style, as Gonzaga might have the opportunity to get through on Brown coming out of the Andretti hairpin. But a moment there for Simon Edwards. Simon Edwards caught up in a little bit of a little contact. As there's also drama for Dominic Pavera in the same time, but Saudi Reitinen starting to canter away ever so slightly. Brown, Gonzaga, Brown, and who is this going around the outside? That's going to be Mike Bousson. He's got James Barry through on him, as now it's going to be 3 wide up the hill.
Look
dear.
At this.
Kim-Andre Bjorklund looked to the inside of Seth Brown as someone spot it.
Jamie.
And that is Jamie Bird again. Oh, the Hunt the Shunt livery is not helping him out here tonight at Laguna Seca.
No, this is a track that's not really would not normally be in Jamie's wheelhouse. This is a track that kind of throws your car loose a lot, and that's the way Jamie, he runs a really loose low wing setup, and that's not necessarily that good for this track at all.
Yeah, but the battles are thick and fast as Seth Brown has got James Barry to the inside, over the crest, down the hill, through turn 1 and into the Andretti hairpin here at 2. Barry is through before they've even hit the apex. So Simon Edwards has got to find a little bit of magic in that magician's hat of his.
I'll tell you what, he's got problems here. He's off the pace bad.
Yeah, that car came across the line, and that was a 1:45.5, so Simon might have to execute a fast repair situation, but that'll put him even further down the order as Woodward and Silva go into battle as they head up the hill underneath the VP Racing bridge, which will then lead them into the right hander that brings them onto the Rahal Straight, leading into the corkscrew.
The Rahal Straight.
Yep, the Rahal Straight itself. Bobby Rahal, Graham Rahal, Rahal Lanigan Racing. You love your IMSA stuff.
Well, that's who like Rahal Letterman is who Mick Schumacher drives for now.
In IndyCar, yes.
Yeah.
The man, the son of 7-time Formula 1 World Champion Michael Schumacher. And if people want to correct me, it's Michael. Michael is how they say it in Germany. So please don't shoot the messenger.
Man, I tell you what, something is definitely wrong with Simon's car. In fact, let's do this. He's coming in the pits. Yeah.
Oh, that steering does not look straight.
I'm going to see if I can hunt that down and see exactly what happened with him.
Meantime, well, Heinz Brown is nearly about to be double teamed, like in the WWE if the Usos theme music starts to hit the Titantron, because he's got Gonzaga and Barry bearing down on him. Reitinen is away and clear by 1.3 seconds. James Barry has set the new fastest lap of the race of 17.861 as they go over the hill into the corkscrew and down 5.5 stories. Oh! Heinz Brown, that was definitely Code Brown, clean up on aisle 3, and he's got to bring the German mop to clean up the mess that he's left behind him. He was sideways through the second half of the corkscrew, held onto it, Gonzaga went through, and Barry couldn't really find an exit point. Now he's stuck behind the man from Germany in 3rd place in the 86, as now Barry will have the slipstream over the crest, down the hill into the Andretti hairpin here at turn 2. But Heinz Brown, you are such a lucky so-and-so for that going sideways through the corkscrew, and then it just goes completely Pete Tong.
Yeah, I tell you what, that's a characteristic of that turn. That's what makes it so infamous, you know. I mean, it is. Oh my goodness! Like I said, I can't even tell you how that turn is embedded in my memory from being a child. You know, just a kid watching racing, and you know, the AJ Foyts and the Mario Andretti's racing Indy cars here back in the day. And, you know, just, I mean, this place had such an impression on me as far as racing goes.
Yes, indeed. So it is going to be the case that these drivers are pushing the limits of adhesion. As Seth Brown to the inside of Starley Dayton, as George Gonzaga is now the new race leader. It's a 1-3 for insert name race
What
racing
happened
team.
to Sully Reitinen?
Reitinen had a bit of a drama, so
Let's see.
didn't quite see it. But Starley Dayton was leading by a second and a half. I would imagine that the Finns had a drama. Right, let's have a look. Oh, it's going to be through the right-hander here. Goes,
turn. Oh, yeah.
Dear. Understeers off.
Yep. I think it's turn 5, I believe, or 4 or 5.
That's turn. That's
This
going to be turn 5.
Yeah, this is 6 here. That's, oh, that's terrible, man. What a, oh no, it even gets worse for him. Holy cow. No.
Oh,
No.
this is. Oh no, not into the Andretti hairpin. Who's trying to go around the outside? That's Kim-Andre Bjorklund. And there's going to be a tag.
Seth
Brown. Brayton gets turned. Oh, too many cooks spoil the broth on that one, Jim.
I tell you what, the three wide going into the Andretti hairpin is, I've never seen that work before. So I have to say, it's kind of like going 3 wide through the corkscrew here. You can't do that.
Yeah, 2 wide just about with someone going off circuit, but Heinz Brown now knew. Well, okay, Simon Edwards now has repaired the car and he's flying at the minute, but he's 46.5 seconds off of the race leader. He's just put in a 17.546. Here's Bjorklund battling away, and that is with Evan Gullikson, who's looking to the outside. The 2 Norwegians nearly smashing each other's door panels in, and there's Robert Woodward in the all-in pink BWT Radical Edition, who's trying to get through around the outside, down the hill into the Andretti hairpin, but Gullikson holds his line and stays matter-of-fact, parks it on the racing line. Does not give Woodward the opportunity to get on through, as they all go a little bit exit stage left coming out of turn 4. Now into the sweeping right-hander here at 5 go on 3 leaders. And, well, James Barry fastest lap of the race. 1 minute 17.196. Barry is absolutely on a mission. And the reason being is that he knows that Simon Edwards is quite a way behind him.
Yeah.
But in some respects, this could also help Heinz Brown in terms of closing the gaps to Simon Edwards in the point standings, considering the fact that after this we've got 4 weeks to go. But it will be a total of 7 races, because for those wondering, the Nürburgring Touristfahrt circuit is one of the variations of the 20-plus kilometre circuit, yes, where, quite interestingly, there was a new lap record set by a production electric vehicle, and it was a Porsche Taycan GT with Manthey pack that just did a 6 minute 55 round the Nordschleife. But here comes Kim-Andre Bjorklund to the outside of Seth Brown. Brown has nowhere to go, and there's Gullikson to the outside. The Norwegian taking complete advantage of the situation, and Seth Brown hasn't just lost 1 place, he's lost 4. He's lost out to Bjorklund, lost out to Gullikson, Woodward and Jamie Bird all at the same time. Now Seth Brown finds himself in 9th.
He's going to have nightmares about the Andretti hairpin, man. You know, the lap before is when he got into to our previous race leader, Sully Reitinen, and then
oh, here we go. Seth Brown gets the trundle of shame down the pit lane penalty, aka a drive-through.
Wow, is that incident limits?
That's incident limits hit for Seth Brown, so he's going to have to pull that in. George Gonzaga goes a little bit wide coming out of turn 10.
Heinz Brown's going to jump all over that.
Brown.
Oh,
yeah,
no, he's not.
No, Heinz Brown makes a little bit.
But you got to be careful. You get on that AstroTurf, especially in these light cars like this. You know, that back end will step right out on you. Yep. Interesting fact: did you know that AstroTurf was invented for the Astrodome in Houston, Texas, here where I live?
Oh, now that's something that they do say, Jim, that you learn something new every day. So, Thank you for that wonderful bit of trivia. As
it was invented for the baseball field there inside of the Astrodome here in Houston, and that's where it came. That's what it was made for.
Yeah. Hevard Gullikson has now managed to get through on Kim Andre Bjorklund and now has got a 7.3 second disadvantage to the man who is currently leading the SR8 division. That is the 666 of Team Radline's Mike Bousson. In the 666, who's now only about 4 and a bit tenths of a second away from third position because James Barry has got a roadblock, a Germanic roadblock in front of him in the form of Heinz Braun in the number 86. And this is giving George Gonzaga a little bit of breathing space at the minute because the man from Portugal is just under a second up the road. Out of the final corner. And I would say, despite that 40 kilo disadvantage, and with a little decrease in power, well, the SR8s have been very much at the sharp end of the field. And Mike Bousson, we know through folklore and also speaking to the man himself in post-race interviews that he prefers the SR8. He said that the SR10 for him is a little bit too much of a handle. He loves the dynamics of the SR8 that work better with his driving style as we ride on board with James Barry closing in on Heinz Braun, and this is going to be into the left-hander down the compression here at T5. Then it's up the hill underneath the VP Racing Bridge before we go through the dip at turn 6 and then up to the Rahal Straight. And oh, look at this carrier speed from Barry.
He got a nice run through 6.
Yeah, he's
not going to be able to do anything with it probably though.
No, but it just depends on whether Heinz Braun makes a bit of a pig's ear of the corkscrew, which a lot of people have been saying it should be named after, that it should be called the Zanardi corkscrew in a recent, well, with a lot of social media chatter involving that. But Mike Bousson is there. I would be absolutely fine with that. Sully Leitonen now closing in on Phil Glover. This is into turn 10. Phil Glover in that wonderfully liveried SR10 Castrol car.
Oh yeah, best livery in the series for sure. Love that car.
I 100% concur on that, Mr. Cunningham. I completely do. It is a livery that is forever timeless. Meantime, James Barry has gotten through on Heinz Braun, and here comes Mike Bousson. Oh, that's a bit edgy coming out of turn number 4, but Bousson has got himself up into P3 overall. The Team Radline 666 driver now moves into third position, but
I'm trying to figure out if there's enough time here for Barry to run George down.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, this is, you know, there's all kinds of interesting things going on. You know, James Barry being ahead of Heinz Braun by 2 spots, that has implications in the championship. You know, Harvard Gullikson being behind Mike Bousson has implications in the SR8 championship. There's a lot of things going on right up here at the front right now.
Yes, indeed, and it is going to continue being that way, just because we know, you and I, Jim, that with this series, there's a lot of toing and froing, and here comes Heinz Braun to the outside at the Andretti hairpin on Mike Bousson. Can the German get the undercut on the Brit? Not quite, but did carry a lot of overspeed.
Yeah, but man, I tell you what, Mike Bousson can make a radical about as wide as anyone, and he is tough to pass, man. Especially on a track that's set up, you know, that favors the SR8s, you know, because he makes it tough on the tracks that favor the SR10s. So at a place like this, but word is that Simon offered a second setup this week too for these SR8 guys, that he put a high downforce setup in, which is not normally what Simon likes to drive. He drives a low downforce setup, but he said that the high downforce setup he had was about 0.2 faster. It just was extremely dangerous for the first couple of laps.
That sounds like Simon Edwards saying, yeah, it was good, but it's extremely dangerous for the first couple of laps until the tyres went up to 10. You know, which is very, very true. But we still have, well, we're now lap 12 out of 18, 7 to go. And once again, Heinz Brown to the outside of Mike Bousson. This time as, oh dear, Seth Brown. I don't think it is his night in the highlighter.
No.
The highlighter, bright highlighter number 38. He's just got another black flag.
Oh my gosh. Oh, he's probably going to park it. Oh my God, that's 2 incident limit penalties, man. I mean, this place can rack them up fast. I mean, it's a fine line here between staying on track and getting an off track. It's tight and it's just tough. Tell you what, Simon Edwards is back here just struggling.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, to be honest, and that was Dominic Pavera having a little bit of a pucker time there, unfortunately, through out of turn number 2 at the Andretti hairpin. So Edwards now has a clear 3.3 second advantage over the number 74. But still, this battle at the sharper end of the field, things are starting to elongate now in terms of gaps between the drivers here, Jen, where you've got Gonzaga and Barry a second apart. But I will make mention of this. James Barry has just set a personal best lap race. 1 minute 17.121. That was nearly 4/10 quicker than George Gonzaga, who continues to lead. We are on lap 13 out of 18. So 6 to go, including this one. 5 to go until we hit the white flag in the air, as Peasley and Silver are swapping places for 11th and 12th more times than musical chairs being taken away once the music stops.
Well, they're having a good old battle back here, just having fun.
Yeah, Silver getting through, and that's at, bit of a wobble there from Peasley.
Oh, there goes.
Exit stage left.
Wow. Silva. This place is tough, man. I love driving here. It's one of my favorite tracks, so I forget how tough it can be,
Yeah. Oh, that it can be. It's not an easy circuit to negotiate your way around, irrespective of what car you put on it, whether it be a Skippy Barber, a Formula Ford 1600, a GT3, even a GTP is an absolute minefield to handle around here.
Minefield, yeah.
We're not talking about the Riley Daytona prototypes. No. We're looking at the current Ps, so Ws. Of course, there's a lot of excitement about the new McLaren hypercar, which has just been unveiled, and that looks glorious.
Yeah, that was a nice little release they did. How about the Porsche livery from Laguna Seca last weekend?
The
Apple
computers.
Yeah.
That brings me back.
Oh my gosh, right? And it's this of course Laguna Seca is not too far from the tech area of the United States,
Cupertino, Apple indicated.
Yeah, so that was a clever use of that livery here, which the Apple livery is one of my all-time favorite liveries, so I absolutely love that.
Yeah, there was a particular BMW team. I think can't remember the name. I know it starts with Paul. But they brought back the old 3-litre CSL Batmobile livery from when Stritzel, Stuck and BMW came over with the 3-litre CSL during the fuel shortage crisis back in the mid-1970s.
Yep.
And one of the funny things is that everyone thought that BMW stood for British Motor Works, and the way that Stritzel made it sound different was because of the fact that every time he hit the top step he would yodel like a Bavarian. A true story. This is all in the there's a really good documentary about the touring car history of BMW called Adrenaline, and it's done by the guys Tim and Nick Hanna from the company Stereo Screen, who I've had the pleasure of speaking to, and they've done quite a few documentaries, one of which is a really, really good one, and it is actually all about Alex Zanardi and him teaming up with Timo Glock and Bruno Spengler, and a certain Johnny Cicotto's team at the Spa 24, and that was a few years ago, and they were running quite competitively. It's called Touch. Yeah, basically there is a film called No Limits. Impossible is just a word. And here we go. Change for the race lead between the two teammates as James Barry finally gets through on George Gonzaga. Gonzaga looking to stick his nose up the inside at turn number 5. We have got this and 2 more laps to go here at Laguna Seca. Here for week 8 of season 2 2026 live on JP Broadcasting. You're in the company of Alex Goldschmidt and Jim Cunningham once again as this second race here just out on the outskirts of Monterey, California is really coming to a great crescendo. But James Barry launching it up the inside of George Gonzaga, who didn't know what hit him. Mike Bousson is on course to take a win in the SR8s as there is Kim-Andre Bjorklund being mugged through at turn 9 at Rainey's Corner by Robert Woodward in the all-pink number 18 car. We have got 2 laps to go, and James Barry is away and clear. The minute he got through on George Gonzaga, I think George went, you know what, I'm not in the hunt for the top spot in the championship. I know that you're a little bit further up the order than me, James. You go get him, boyo.
Yeah, I think they were having a little fun there, but when it came down to it, it was once James got by him, at this point, George is going to preserve his second place, I think. We got Paul LeMay joining us in the chat in our virtual grandstand tonight. He said he would love to see George win this one, but unfortunately at this point, I think that moment may be gone.
I think it's gone like the wind, as they would say.
Yeah, but, I mean, unless Barry makes a mistake, which is not extremely likely to happen. So,
but it's still within the realms of possibility.
Very much so. Yeah, this is a battle's heating up right here.
Oh, this is Bousson versus Brown and Gullickson, and Gullickson might be looking for. Oh, there goes Brown to the inside of Bousson at the final corner. Very, very close indeed. White flag is in the air, and now it's a slipstream fest down the start-finish straight for the final time. Where is Gullickson going to put the IGL Coatings and Sunday Traffic Scholar car? Well, he nearly got an opportunity to send it up the inside. Heinz Brown runs deep out of the Andretti hairpin, and that looks at both Bousson and Gullickson get through. Gullickson now has an opportunity. He's got less than 2 miles to do it as they go through turn 4. So Gullickson could get the run on Bousson, but Brown is right there waiting in the wings into turn 5 for the final time. As our leaders now heading on towards the Rahal straight up towards the corkscrew here on lap 18 out of 18. Bousson has got to do everything he can in his power to keep the SR8 win under his belt, but Gullickson is coming at him like a rabid Wolverine at the moment. But here comes Heinz Brown trying to do what he can as they go through the corkscrew for the final time. And Bousson kicks up the gravel right to the face of Gullickson through into Rainey's Corner for the final time. But it is going to be the fact that James Barry is going to lead a 1-2 for the insert name E-Racing team here at Laguna Seca, race 2, week 8. James Barry in the number 10 from the UK wins. And look at this, it's going to be a drag race for the line. Who's going to get it? Is it going to be Bousson or Gullickson? It is going to be Bousson that takes the SR8 victory by 73 thousandths ahead of Herford Gullickson, who nearly got 2 class wins on the bounce.
Wow.
Oh, and Heinz Brown was a further 8 tenths behind. Woodward in 6th, Bjorklund 7th. Lehtinen takes 8th, but will get a black flag penalty.
What happened to Simon?
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Simon Edwards, mechanical black flag. This is going to be.
Oh. I think that was probably intentional. I think that was.
I think that was like.
That was just frustration. Yeah, I believe that's what that was. He was not happy there at all. I'm pretty sure. Wow. What a.
Yeet.
Yeah, no. Wow. Yeah, that was I mean, he never recovered his speed. Whatever repair he did, it never recovered, though. It just, The car wasn't
Well,
there.
it put him about 50 seconds behind the race leader, but James Barry wins an exciting race 2 gate here on the Radical Race Series Battle of the Radicals, and he wins after 18 laps, having only led 3. George Gonzaga led the most of them, 12 laps in total. Fastest lap of the race, Hivard Gulliksen in the RGL Coatings and Sunday Traffics caller. Entry of 1:16.765. So Busson takes the win in SR8s, rounding out the top 3 behind Barry and Gonzaga, who have an insert name E-Racing Team 1-2 here in the second race of the night. Heinz Brown P5, Robert Woodward, Kim-Andre Bjorklund and Jamie Bird ran out the top 8, with Phil Glover and Stefan Mellis completing the top 10. Ray Peasley, Solly Reitinen, Patricio Gomez de Silva, Simon Edwards, Dominic Pavera, Seth Brown, and Simon and that really rounds up the results here on Radical Race Series Battle of the Radicals. As next time out, in just a week's time, we'll head to the home of British Motor Racing, Silverstone, for the full Grand Prix circuit layout. But
say goodbye, Alex, so I can do interviews.
All I'm going to say is I'm going to hand it over to the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Jim Cunningham, and up top post-race interviews tonight. Jim, over to you, buddy.
All right, buddy. Yeah, you have a good one. He has another broadcast coming up, so I'm going to take care of these interviews this evening. So we'll see how that goes. Let's see who we got in there. We've got we'll bring up Phil first as my normal first interview. Phil, good to have you here, buddy. How you doing? I don't have Phil. Well, maybe Phil stepped away for a second. We'll park Phil, and we'll bring up Mike Busson. This is always a high quality interview. Mike, Jim Cunningham, how you doing?
Evening, chaps. How are we?
Good. It's just me tonight. Alex had to step away, so
I'm still here.
Oh.
It's just I've got another broadcast in a few hours, but I need to keep my voice for that one. So.
Oh, okay. Well, yes.
You have it. Take a little bit. Have a lozenge or something, mate. You know, take it easy.
No, he needs a hot toddy.
I never take it easy, Mike. You know that.
Well,
Neither do you.
Needs a hot
you look
toddy.
after yourself.
Little Jack Daniels and something, or something like that would be good for you. Little Jameson or something. But Mike, good run tonight. That last race was quite entertaining. You had a good battle there. But
Heinz was robust, that's for sure. But it worked. I thought there was moments where I thought one or both of us is going off, but no, it was.
And Gulliksen
right.
you and Gulliksen had almost a drag race there to the finish line for the SR8 win tonight.
Yeah, he came obviously back. Well, we were just about to start discussing it before you rudely interrupted.
Yeah, well,
but I'll let you off. That's it. That's why you're on the big bucks. So
do you know James or what? Because I don't know anything about big bucks.
No. It's not some sort of charity work you do, I'm sure.
It about is.
Sure, the tax man knows about it. Anyway, Howard did really well because I didn't even have him on my radar for a long time, and then obviously him and Heinz caught back up to me, and I thought myself, obviously I didn't want to lose it on the last lap, but I think Heinz chucked one up quite late, and I thought myself, and then Gulliksen got him behind me, and I thought, where should I plant this car for the last corner? Because I don't want to be that man, but at the same time, I thought myself, I don't want to lose it.
It's okay to be that man on the last lap for sure.
SR8 against SR8. I don't mind letting the SR10 go, but when you're in a championship with these guys.
Right, no, exactly. And
he had obviously a great first race, didn't he? Did he win? I don't know.
To be honest with you, I can't remember.
I must have won. I'm sure he started in 10th, so he must have won,
that's true. He did. Yes.
By the laws of the math.
He did win, and he actually had a good run to get up there too. Yeah. So he covered a lot of ground. But but you had a good night tonight. Finishing
on a
ahead of
track
them's good for the points. So,
this is it. This is a track that
I love this place.
Can go either way. I've had some howlers around it. I'm not exactly fast, but it's sort of just don't hit the heavy curbs and just make it to the end.
Yeah, this is one I grew up on. So
it
this
was
is
drive and survive.
But it's always good to have you in here for a chat. You got anybody you want to shout out to this evening? I know you always have something worked up for us.
I haven't really. I was there going to quickly look at the hot topics of today. I thought, let's give it to James. Obviously, he's earned enough money this week that he can have a night off, I'm sure.
Yeah. Is that what it is? I'm pretty sure it's the fact that he has a toothache and he's having a tooth removed tomorrow. I think is more the celebration that we're having right now.
That's probably poor dental care down that end of the country. He's a bit further down than me. And
that's what they say. The further down you go.
Well, this is it. Being American, like Brits generally are renowned for their bad teeth, and he probably drinks too much. Stuff like that.
Probably. All right, buddy.
Anyway, right. I'll catch you soon, boys.
Yes, we'll see you next week.
Cheers. Bye.
Oh my goodness, always a high quality interview. All right, let's bring up Gullickson. Harvard, good to have you here, man. Congratulations. You had a good night tonight.
Yeah, thank you. It was easier the first race. The second race was quite hard. It's not easy to overtake, and most of the guys are really quick, so not easy at all. And I wanted to try to get past Mike on the last laps there, but he was.
It was a nice drag race there.
Yeah, but I'm quite new in this series, so I do not want to get any enemies. So I'm maybe a little cautious.
Just dump him. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's Mike. It's fine. Y'all are racing for the championship, so we might as well put the bumper to him. That's the way we Americans race anyway, so we have no problem with that.
I understand.
But no, it's good to to be honest with you, you came out of nowhere. I didn't really know anything about you, and to jump in here and run up front and with these guys, this is like you said, there's fast guys in this series, especially the top guys. They're pretty fast, so. You really just kind of came in and made a name for yourself right off the bat, it's been fun to watch. You definitely took me by surprise, and it's been quite entertaining. So congratulations on that as well.
Thanks. I hope it's a positive surprise and not
no, God, just anytime somebody can come in here and race with the likes of Simon and James and those guys and Bjorklund and all those guys that run up front in this league. If you can just come in here and just adapt that quickly, that's saying something, because these guys drive these cars week in and week out and have for years, Yeah,
I know. I normally race the SR10 in the officials together with Barry.
Right, with
everybody
Barry,
who runs there. Yeah, but this series, I think the SR8 are 10 times more fun to drive, so that's why I drive the SR8, because
I agree. I would much prefer the SR8, and so does Simon. As he always tells me, when we talk, that he much prefers the SR8. It's easier to drive and it's faster, really. So
it's more fun.
It is more fun. I agree.
Yeah,
you can put the power down. So, but congratulations on another good night, though. First place, and I guess overall. Second in class, so good night points wise. You should have probably made some ground up on Mike, I think, or pulled away a little bit from Mike. So good night.
Yeah, I should have. Yeah, thank you.
But you got anybody you want to thank while we have you in here?
You guys for always putting on this good show. It's really nice to watch afterwards. All the guys who drives the series, and of course my team and teammates at IGL Coatings and Sonne Trafikkskole.
All right. Well, congratulations again, and we'll see you next week.
I hope so. Thank you,
buddy.
Bye.
And we'll bring up James Barry now. Very good run there in that second race. I was questioning whether you were going to get by your teammate there for a while. He had pulled away a little bit.
Yeah. Hey guys. He had a bit of a gap and he had some decent pace, but he made a few mistakes, and then I got close to him and he started defending really early on, which I think didn't help him in that situation, because then he made even more mistakes, and when he made one close in front of me, then I was able to sneak by. So it was all good in the end for myself. I wasn't too fussed about beating him or not. I was just happy that we were in the 1-2 with all these buzzing bees behind us.
Yes, there were.
Obviously happy to get the win.
Definitely some buzzing bees back there.
Yeah.
With that was it was quite a little hornet's nest back there. They were drag racing to the line, but yeah, good fun though. What do you think about Laguna Seca? You like this place?
It's good. It's a very challenging track. I'm probably not the best at it, but it's definitely an engaging challenge, and I really enjoy the reverse grid races here, because when you have a pace differential, then you have some really interesting overtaking places. Like in the first race, I fell back a few positions, then had to do a cheeky dive bomb into the corkscrew on Heinz.
Yes.
Then, overtaking Heinz in the second race as well, I had to do that in turn 3, turn 2, turn 3.
Well,
same with George.
As I said during the broadcast, as a kid growing up in America, the corkscrew at Laguna Seca was just that place. That was the turn. You know what I mean? Like, the old IndyCar passes where guys would go through there side by side and pass each other and stuff like that. So this place is very iconic to me, and it's one of my favorite tracks. Just because in like all the video games growing up as a kid were. This track was in every one of them, and it's just one of those kind of places. But it is very challenging. There's places around here that'll throw you off track that you don't even see coming. They look very benign until you drive it in there. Yeah,
it's a great challenge, and it's a very iconic track for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, especially growing up here, and I would imagine this is kind of the Brands Hatch of the United States or something. But yeah, good. Another good night for you there. The points championship is really starting to heat up there in the SR10 division. You guys are, especially with what the night that Simon had, which is a very forgettable night for him, I'm sure. Probably a drop round actually, and. So it should really tighten things up at the top. I'm looking forward to seeing next week how that's going to shape up.
Yeah, it'll be. Well, I think I'll have the advantage now.
I think so. Yeah.
So I hope to carry that on. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we'll be looking forward to seeing that too. You got anybody you want to thank while we got you in here?
No, just everyone. No one and everyone.
No one and everyone. All right, buddy. Good to see you again, and I'll be looking for you in the Lotus 79s again. I get a big thrill out of watching that. I love that.
Yeah.
So, all right, man. Well, we'll see you. We'll see you next week.
Yeah. Cheers, guys.
All right. Talk to you later. All right. Well, we probably better wrap it up before James kills me for these long interviews. So.
We talked about that before going on here, didn't we?
Yes.
But, I mean, Jim, Laguna Seca always the corkscrew always delivers, no matter what you put on the track.
Yeah, I don't know that I've ever seen a bad race here. It's just one of those places for me. I'm sure it's probably not that way for everybody, but it certainly is for me. And the names, the Andretti Hairpin, the Ray Hall Straight, these are all names of racers that grew up kind of idolizing and and watching their careers, and it's just one of those places.
Well, folks, that wraps up our live broadcast coverage of Week 8 out of Season 2 for the Radical Race Series Battle of the Radicals from the virtual representation of WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. Next week, 7 days' time, we head to the home of British Motor Racing, the Silverstone Grand Prix Circuit. Thank you so much to everyone that has been involved in chat, particularly Mr. Paul LeMay.
Yes.
Let's get you backside on the grid very soon, good sir. We do miss you. And until then, you've been in the company of Alex Goldschmidt and Jim Cunningham, been a JP Broadcasting Network production. Until next week, race hard, race fair. No doubt we better go flat out. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.